Most people think that they need a full course built out and hours of course modules before they can even launch their course or coaching program. And that's exactly why majority of them never launch. All right, so maybe you're a content creator and you can relate to this, right? You keep on adding more modules, you keep on tweaking your curriculum, you keep on saying it's just not ready yet, right? But the reality is like you're not just perfecting your course, you're actually avoiding like the moment that someone says no to it, right? Like your content, creating content for your course becomes an excuse for you to avoid actually selling it in the first place. And so here's what I learned from selling multi six figures in courses and programs myself, and from helping many of my clients to do the same here as well. All right. Now, ultimately, when it comes to selling like programs, like most people don't buy content. They actually buy the outcome that it helps them with, right? Like, and I think that's especially important nowadays because we live in the world of AI, right? Like information is no longer the issue. It's the execution, right? Like people don't pay for information anymore. People pay for implementation and how this would help them directly like in their business. All right. So that's why it's really important to get that right. And so it comes down to three main things. So if I have to really boil it down, right? So like the way to sell without having a full course built out, like all that you would need is you would need to map out what the outcome of your program or your course will look like. So what do you want your student to end up, right? The second thing is like what is that mechanism? What is that like step-by-step path to get there? So typically I like to lay it out in like 3 to 5 steps. And the third is just having a couple of real examples. So you can add proof from yourself, and you can also add proof from anyone else that you've helped with before in some capacity. And that's basically it. That's like all that you would need to start selling here. All right, so let me show you what this looks like in practice. So this is actually an example from one of my own coaching programs. And I first launched this program actually a few years ago. And we did our first 28K without me filming a single video. And so I'm actually really glad that I did that because like, at the time, like I was running a marketing agency and then I was coaching like other people like how to grow their marketing agencies. And I remember like when I was putting the program together, I could have filmed like 200 hours of like course content and videos. But yeah, looking back, I'm glad I didn't do that because number one, I wouldn't have launched, and number two is like most of that content wouldn't have been relevant. So instead, what I did when I first launched to make sure that it doesn't hold me back is that I created an outline, right? So I created an outline to curriculum, and I also set like a launch date into the future. So when I first sold people into my coaching program, I set the launch date for like a couple weeks later, and that then gave me time to go through the sales process, sell my first cohort of students, and then it also gave me time to build out the first modules. And so like here's like an example of like what my actual like curriculum looked like. So I created like an outline. So I started off with the transformation. So yeah, like we're helping marketing agencies to scale without paid ads using our 5-step e-propel system. And then like I'll outline like the structure of like what the curriculum looks like. So like because it was a high ticket coaching program, a lot of it was based on coaching with me. So it was a group coaching program. So they would have an initial one-on-one action plan call with me, and then there will be 2 group coaching calls per week with myself so that I can help them with their process. Now, in terms of like the actual modules and systems, like what I did was I just simply outlined what that looked like, right? So for me, like I mapped it out in 5 steps. So it was like step one, create a scalable offer. Right. Step two, we taught them how to get clients like through a lead gen system where they would do like organic outreach. Step three, we taught them how to scale that by like leveraging virtual assistants to do the lead generation for them. Step four, we systemize fulfillment so that they remove themselves from the client fulfillment process of their marketing agency. And step five is they keep on getting results for their clients and they get like testimonials and keep their clients happy so that they don't have to keep on like churning clients, right? So I think yeah, the cool thing is like when I map this out, like the first version actually looked a little bit different than this. Like I think I had a couple of like different angles and routes that I could have went. And so when I first built this, like it was really interesting because the things that I thought were important, like some ended up not being important at all once I talked to my students. And so what I did was like I actually ended up like adjusting this curriculum. Like this curriculum was like what it looked like after talking to my students, because like I would have sales calls with prospects, with like agency owners that would tell me about the pain points and things that they're struggling with. And then I would also have messaging conversations with prospects where again they would tell me like what they were struggling with, right? So that gave me like really valuable input to see like, all right, like what actually matters to my students. And so when I first launched my program, like I was able to adjust this, and like I filmed the initial modules based on exactly what my students wanted to like learn it, and what I knew would help them to get those fast results and those wins, right? And then when I first launched my coaching program, what I did was I simply just like made sure that I was like a week ahead of my students. So like you can see this was like a 12-week coaching program. So I just made sure that I was like a week ahead of my students in terms of like filming the initial modules. And I actually ended up filming a lot of these like initial videos like live on my coaching calls. So like for example, like I'll have a group coaching call, and then I'll have like let's say like a bonus training, or like I would extend one of my coaching calls where like in the beginning I would just like film myself going through a module, and then like I remember I was like making a training about like the exact like team structure that helped my marketing agency to scale. And I remember I filmed that like for the first 20 minutes of the coaching call, and then I turned that into a module in the program afterwards. And that actually helped me to deliver it better because I was delivering it to a live audience. And also like it gave me like good feedback in terms of, like what are like other things that I can film and adjust like as we go as well. All right. And then for anything else that like wasn't filmed, like because it was a high ticket coaching program, they had access to coaching calls. So then I'll just address that directly on the coaching calls with myself each week. And so that is how I went about doing that. All right. I hope that was helpful. So remember, the problem isn't that you don't have enough content. The problem is you just don't have enough clarity. All right. Like when you have clarity and you have the right offer, the right roadmap, the selling becomes easy and the fulfillment becomes easy. All right. Like I think a lot of people are just complicating this. All right. So if you're a content creator and you would like some help in crafting your offer that sells, and like figuring out like what that launch looks like, and like how to best sell it without having to build out the whole thing, and you like our help to also build out the back end for you, right? Click on the link below and let's chat to see like how to help you out with that. All right. Now, thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, and feel free to check out the other free resources that I have on this YouTube channel, and I'll see you in the next one.